Hello, I'm going to be replying to comments and questions here. And in the background, you're going to see a video of me porting one of my Blender models into my game for Patreon and in the future Steam called Amarillo's Desktop Pets. So that's Mai Shiranui, and she's the character that won last month's Patreon character poll. And part of the rewards for my Patreon is to have her in the game. So the first question, I'm just gonna read the questions and I guess I'm gonna pick a few at random, something like that. The first one, favorite artist. I don't really have just one artist that I like the most above every other. Nowadays there are so many artists that you can follow online, and there are so many talented people that you cannot even remember their names anymore because it's right. So I would have 100 favorite artists that I don't remember the names. But I guess if I have to pick one, it would be Akira Toriyama, the Dragon Ball guy, because I just love his unique, he has a sort of a language that is his own and that affects his characters, but also the buildings he makes, the vehicles, the plants, the trees, the names he picks for things. He's such a complete artist, at least in regards of anime and entertainment. Maybe I would like to have a bit of that one day, to be able to create different things, not only characters, and people be able to think, oh, this looks like the style of Amarillo, right? He's a great inspiration because of that. So it would be him. There's another artist that I also like mentioning, Acevi Chao. She's a Peruvian artist who made characters, and at the time I was starting with this path in life, I was taking a lot of inspiration from her work and from her style, the way she made characters, and what her characters made or did. It was really fun. And she's at that point in my I wouldn't say life, but at that point in my career, I think her style really stuck with me and nurtured my own style. She's retired, so I don't think she's doing any more art, but I always remember her work. Okay, so I'm just gonna read more. What exercises? Okay, yeah, there are many questions asking about either exercises or tips about starting with Blender, and my go-to answer, I think, always is going to be first, familiarize yourself with the user interface, the UI, by reading the official user guide. The user guide of Blender is really, really well made, and if you start by reading that, you're going to understand how Blender is supposed to be used and understood, I should say. So once that clicks with you, then I feel like you will immediately know where to look for things. Because for me, I think the most frustrating aspect of learning a new tool is how to do what I want to do. And in the case of Blender, since it is so well designed, I think it's pretty easy to know at least where to look for what you want to do. The UI is really well designed, but you have to understand it, right? And you can understand it by just using the program, or you can save a lot of time and just read how it's supposed to be used. Do not start with YouTube tutorials. I feel like I will always be advising against that. It's quick, but I don't think you really understand a lot of what you're doing when you are just following steps. So read the user guide. It's going to help you a lot. What's the original reason you wanted to start making 3D models? I think that goes back a long time ago, 2014, when I was first studying game development, and I realized how powerful 3D was in the realm of game development, because you can do more stuff with 3D models than with just 2D assets. A 3D model, you only have to make it once, right? And then you can do a lot with it. You can move it around and animate it. So I felt like 3D was more exciting because of that, because of how versatile it was when it was well made. So yeah, it's my game development roots that influenced that probably. Cycles or Eevee, I like Eevee the most because I feel like Eevee is more efficient, it's faster, and it also lets you do more of what you want, because Cycles is probably too focused on realism, and if you want to, make a metal like a certain color, then you have to understand what makes a metal to reflect light of these colors. I don't know. Like on Eevee, you just pick a color and like that's not all of it, but I feel like you have more freedom. It's more artistic freedom, artist friendly. And since I'm not interested in realism, it's better for me, and it's way faster too. How do you make a base model? With a lot of patience and love. I don't make my models always from scratch, and I don't think I've ever, in recent years, I don't think I've ever started a character like totally from scratch. I'm either copying what I did from another character or starting like from a base mesh. And all the base meshes that I have a few. I've either made them from scratch or I don't know if I can say that I've made a base mesh when I have referenced heavily from another base mesh. But you can find a lot of base meshes that you can buy online, like from ArtStation and Sketchfab. And I've bought a few of those, and I've taken like parts of many of those and studied them, like parts that I like about, for example, there's one base mesh that I like, the hand topology, right? So I tried to study that and understand it, and the face topology from another base mesh that I liked, and then I made my own, shoulders, for example, stuff like that. So I cannot for certain say I've made this 100%. I've never really been too interested in making my own base mesh from scratch. I feel like there's not a lot of point in doing that, because that's not the important part of, at least of what I do. So in order to save time, I just reuse my old base meshes. So how do you do it? Yeah, with patience and love. Especially when I was learning, I used to take way longer to make my characters, because every time I made a character, I was trying to practice or learn like a new skill or a new part. So for this character, I'm going to focus on, the joints, for example, something like that. And it took me really long making characters that way. So yeah, it's patience and love. How do you stay motivated to keep doing Blender? I'm starting out and I can't stay interested. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's when you start this journey, especially with characters, it's really easy to make characters that you hate or that look super weird, that look super uncanny. We've all been there. And how do you stay motivated? Well, in my case, I was really, really motivated because I feel like I was so in love with character art, with 3D characters. So I had, even up to this day, I have like a folder full of images that I saved from other artists. And, some of them, I just look at them and I think, wow, this is so beautiful. This is incredible. Like, I would love to be able to do something like this. And just out of that passion and love, I wanted to try and try and try. And I think that's it. It's a corny answer maybe, but it's love, right? You fall in love with it. And my second piece of advice would be to also be a little humble and try to start simple. Because if you try to make your first project really ambitious character, it's going to turn out horrible. And you're going to feel pretty frustrated. But if you start making a little chibi character or a little like a Pokemon, for example, it's way more manageable to start with. So, start small and, at least try to remember why you love 3D, why you love characters. Okay, more questions. What's your hair modeling workflow? It's derived from one tutorial in YouTube from Jan Sculpt. He had a video a few years back where he explained how he made hair using curves. So I just stuck with that technique and improved it a little based on what I want, based on what I like. but I just use curves for that. Hair is really difficult. It really is very difficult to do for me. But, you know, you start simple and go part by part, right? First make the front part of the hair, then the sides, then the back part. Divide and conquer, I guess. As an artist, what's a struggle that you often deal with that's essential to your duties? Struggle I often deal with that. I don't know if I have an answer for that because I can identify two main dimensions of my work. One is the artistic part and the other is the, shall I say, the content creator part, where, you know, I have an audience that expects from me and I have to deliver. So that's the least artistic part, even though I make art, but that's the source of the struggles because that's the job part. And, you know, I have to keep up and I have to always be on the lookout for new opportunities or things that I can do to grow my audience. But I wouldn't say that's an artistic struggle though. That's more like a marketing or the job struggle. As an artist, maybe motivation at first. You know, trying to stay motivated and keep learning. But my main struggles are trying to grow the audience. How do I pass from 2D to 3D? And there was also another question about like moving from illustrations to 3D modeling. You know, I don't know because I've never developed my drawing skills. I'm pretty bad at drawing, so I have no idea. I think being able to draw like can help you, but it's not necessary. But I think it can help you, especially for sculpting. But it's not really needed though. So I don't know if there's a specific advice I would give to 2D artists that I wouldn't give to just general people. Like the main thing is just to learn the UI. That's it. Do you have any tips on making stylized face, body? To have clear references, I would say. To have clear references, and by that I mean, no, just to be clear on what you like. What types of, I don't know, character depictions you like. I like, well, it's not like I like anime. I'm not a huge anime fan, but I like the anime style of characters because it's so effective, so good at conveying expressions. It's so good at being fun, at being appealing and likable. So when I was starting to develop my style, no, I was trying to emulate what anime did, right? So I guess the tips that I would have given myself, I don't know if this is useful for you, but it's just to, the reference is king. Have references, lots of them, study them and understand them and practice with them. I feel like it's also tempting for artists to, no, once they have studied the references, just do their own thing. And I guess I do that too, and I guess that's good. But try to keep checking your references, because I don't know, I have like 5 years making characters and I still have to be checking at references many times, right? So I don't know, this is a shitty answer. References, that's the answer in a nutshell. Who's your inspiration for your 3D model style? That's anime, definitely anime. How do you keep the textures looking right, and do you make the clothes or find them off of a website? So I don't know about the textures. I don't do much with textures. I just, when I need them, I use them, and I don't do anything with them. I don't do anything special with them. So I don't know. But about the clothes, I've made, I guess, 99% of the clothing items that I use. I have a few that I've bought or that are free or something like that. But yeah, I've made most of the clothes that I use. How long does it take to get a work done? Depends, right? If the character is simple and I'm on a good streak, it can be like 2 days of work. But most of the time, maybe it's like 4 days or something like that. Or not even days, but sessions. So I work, I guess, around 3 hours sessions, something like that. So sometimes I can make a character in 2 sessions, but sometimes it takes me more. How to learn animation efficiently? Yeah, animation, I'm not gonna lie, is hell. It's really difficult. Like I think it's the most difficult part in the whole world of 3D because the tools are really complicated. And that's the main reason why I don't animate a lot. I just make simple animations. It's just the tools are difficult. I haven't touched Maya for animation, which is the industry standard. I would guess that Maya is better, has better tools, but I'm not interested in paying for that. So I don't know. And Blender is just tough. It's complicated. Like you have to take notes. You have to have like a pen and paper at hand and like make some calculations and plan out your animations. It's really a lot of work and it's not too fun for me, so I don't do it. So I don't know how you learn that efficiently. I don't think there are many efficient ways to animate. That's how it is. It's just difficult. How long have you been making models? They look great, thank you. Since 2020. That's during the lockdown. I started learning Blender. Late 2020. What kind of things should I practice to learn modeling Blender? So I'm just gonna double down on this, but the UI. Just start by understanding the UI. That's reading the user guide. And I think that's it. That's all the questions that I have. And this is a long one. And all right, so that's it. Those are all the questions. I don't think I have anything to say. So I'm just gonna say bye-bye. Thank you for watching. Blau.